Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the WFCU Center, and thank you for tuning in live for Windsor Express basketball on Knoxroom.tv. I am Brett Hedges alongside my partner in crime, Aaron Sanders, and together we will be providing the commentary for tonight's NBL Canada clash between the visiting Niagara River Lions and the Windsor Express. Now, Aaron, the Niagara River Lions have been on a tear as of late, ever since signing the re-signing of head coach Graz Lacole. 7-1 in the Central Division play as of late, 7-4 overall. What has been the key to this resurgence for Niagara?
Well, the resurgence is right. Graz Lacole has really set up for small ball for the Niagara River Lions, and that's what's been really giving, quite an emphasis on the intimidation for other teams. So I think it relies all on the small ball.
Absolutely. And being the leader of the small ball is the Niagara River Lions point guard, Sammy Zaglinski. He has been on a tear this year in the NBL Canada, setting a new record for assists in a season with 10 games to go for the River Lions.
Well, no question. The guy is pesky, and when he has the ball, he could do quite wonders, whether if it's dishing assists, like you say, or setting up for a great jumper. With Sammy Zaglinski for the River Lions, he could really add sheer dominance, even as a small fella, but I guess the point guard is the name of the game in the NBLC these days.
Absolutely. Sammy Zaglinski, a former Virginia Cavalier. I'm sure he's watching his Cavaliers in the March Madness tournament this weekend. And on the other side of the ball, we saw the Windsor Express in an exciting game here on Sunday at the WFCU Center. They took on the St. John Millrats, came back from 22 points down to force overtime and eventually beat arguably one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, it was one of the best games I have seen this season. If this isn't a top fiver, then I don't know what is. The Windsor Express stayed in the game with their inside defense. They grabbed the rebounds, and they really killed it on the transition game. They weren't afraid to take the closest shot as possible. No outside shots for them. They drove inside, which really cut that 22-point deficit into a double-digit win for them.
Absolutely. And on one unfortunate circumstance for the Windsor Express in that game was the suspension afterward of Maurice Bolden. You give us a little bit of the information regarding the suspension, please, Aaron.
Well, Maurice Bolden collected a technical in the last game, which means that was his sixth. And the rules state that if you have 6 technicals, you have to be suspended for 1 game, but he'll be back for a diaper dandy Saturday. But as for this game, Windsor is going to try to fill in that void.
And almost don't want to say that there's ever a good time to take a suspension in the league, but for Maurice Bolden, perhaps a better time now than opposed in 5-6 games when the crunch is really on for the Windsor Express.
Absolutely. When you sit out for 1 game like this and come back in another, it's a Central Division clash up to the next game. Well, these games importantly, but still, better for Maurice Bolden to sit back, relax, check the game plan for the Express, and then come back with a vengeance Saturday night.
Now, the River Lions are also playing without Diquan Cook, a man who's been very essential in their resurgence as of late. Double-double man. How does this affect the rebounding game for both teams now?
Well, it's an even match game right now. With Maurice Bolden gone, he's a transition guy. With Daquan Cook gone for a little bit, it really just goes to show that both teams might go for the small ball game or stay inside with their game. So they're both even. It's no stalemate, but we're going to see a good chess match here tonight.
Now, Windsor sits at 16-13 in the NBL Central Division, with the 18-9 London Lightning coming into town on Saturday night. This game really has big implications in what could begin a big division swing in the Central Division, with Niagara right on the Windsor Express's heels.
With every team playing in the Central Division coming out with a resurgence of their own, it just goes to show you don't know what's going to happen to either of these teams, but they've been playing hard, whether if it's a new coaching change or a return of a coach or switching their game style a little bit. These 3 teams are really a couple of games behind from the cream of the crop. London still being the cream of the crop, but the question is, can they stay as the cream of the crop? We don't know. We're going to have to find out in the next couple of games as well as tonight.
Well, let's talk a little bit of acquisition history now. The London Lightning acquired Akeem Scott, after he finished his season in the Dominican Republic. We've seen Akeem Scott as a member of the Brampton A's last year. He led the Brampton A's almost in an upset of the Windsor Express in the NBL Central Division Finals. What kind of dynamic do you feel he can bring to the London Lightning?
Well, it brings a lot of wonders. London is a mixed game. With his depth in the roster, it really brings a big difference, especially on the glass game. When you have a good glass game, it leads to transitions. So you never know what you expect from the London Lightning. But if you add more depth to the roster, you're going to have a big boy game.
Absolutely, yeah. Akeem Scott, one of the best guards in the NBL Canada last year, at least in my opinion. He really brings a tenacious effort on the defensive side of the ball, and of course he can get it done on the offensive glass too. So I'm excited to see what he can do. That's a little bit of our preview for Saturday, but going back to the Niagara River Lions now, the last time these two teams played, it was up in St. Catharines at the Meridian Center. The Express pulled out a 101-98 victory, but before that, Niagara came here to the WFCU Center and blew out the Express by over 20. What kind of game do you feel that we can expect from both teams today?
Well, a little more of a small ball too, with Zegs stepping it up for the River Lions, and then you have great guys like Superman and Tony Bennett coming in. So you'll see a little bit of the rebounding game, but that won't be the key factor. The key is staying with the small ball, making sure they get trapped in the wings, and if you stop the small ball play, you're going to open up for great shots, and we're going to have a diaper dandy here tonight, Brett.
Absolutely. You can catch Aaron Sanders during the Noxtrom.tv halftime report. Meanwhile, we're going to head back to the booth to call this beauty. Everyone here is excited for this basketball game, and we'd like to thank you for joining us on Noxtrom.tv. We'll be back for tip-off here on Windsor Express Basketball here on Noxtrom.tv.
Number 3, Sammy Zaglinski. Number 6, BJ Montanero. Number 9, Trevor Sutherland. Number 11, Logan Stutz. And number 13, Mike Allison. The head coach is Mr. Chris Roque. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your investors group starting 5 for your Windsor Express. A 5'11" point guard from Chicago, Illinois, number 4, Sharon Collins. A 6'11" center from Peoria, Illinois, number 44, James Hughes. A 6'5" forward from Lake Wales, Florida, number 15, Brandon Robinson. A 6'9" forward from Toledo, Ohio, entering the House of Commons, number 24, Chris Collins. And a 6'1" point guard from Chicago, Illinois, number 5, Tony Bennett. The head coach of your Windsor Express is Mr. Bill Jones. Associate head coaches Tony Jones and Mr. Lisa Page. The Windsor Express assistant coaches are Aaron McDonald, Scott Newman, Eric Parker, and Jerry Broughton. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, at this time we ask you to please rise. Gentlemen, please remove your hats. And please welcome Tecumseh Vista and the singing of our national anthem.
Welcome to the WFCU Center, ladies and gentlemen. Another installment of NBO Canada action about to unfold here before us. I am Brett Hedges alongside my partner in crime, Aaron Sanders. Today, we will teamed up to call this beauty of a basketball game between the Niagara River Lions and the Windsor Express here on Knockstrom.tv. Thank you, folks, for tuning in live from across Canada and around the world. And welcome to the WFCU Center. Like we said, tip-off between the Niagara River Lions and the Windsor Express moments away. Aaron Sanders joining me on the broadcast. Aaron, say hello to your adoring fans and tell them what we can expect here in this basketball game.
What do you hear? What do you say, folks? It's great to be back doing color for this one game again. And I'll tell you, folks, we mentioned this at the top of the telecast that this could be all small ball with the addition of the rebounding game. Especially with Daquan Cook on the sidelines and Maurice Bolden gone, this is really going to be a close game. No stalemate like we said, but this is going to be a good chess-like match. And I forgot to mention at the top of the telecast that with the 7-1 tear with Grasla Coley being pulled to the coaching helm, the River Lions, Logan Studd has been playing less minutes than usual, but still is able to put it on Sammy Zeggs to finish off the work. So River Lions, great team. They are on the verge of being on the heels of the Windsor Express, and as for Windsor, they're in second place. They're trying to be on the verge of the London Lightning.
The opening tip-off, the ceremonial tip-off is underway. The Niagara River, pardon me, will start with Sammy Zeglinski, number 3. Number 15 is Mike Allison. Sorry, number 13, Mike Allison. Number 11, Logan Stutz. 23, BJ Monteiro. And number 9, Tremar Sutherland. The Windsor Express will start Sharon Collins, number 4. Tony Bennett, number 5. Brandon Robinson, number 15. Chris Commons, number 24. And making his first start for the Windsor Express, number 44, Mr. James Hughes, who is one of the more recent acquisitions from the Windsor Express. Tell you a little bit more about James as the broadcast goes along, but he's an exciting piece of this team. We'll see how he does today. He wins the opening tip-off, and here come the Windsor Express here on Knockstrom.tv.
Watch the matchup between Logan Stutz and James Hughes when he goes inside. Both of them great diaper dandies. Logan Stutz, a potential MVP player, as we see Chris Commons with the jump hook to draw first blood for the Express.
Yeah, common look for the Windsor Express going inside to Chris Commons early. He scores his opening shot of the game, and the Express take a 2-0 lead. Here come the River Lions now. Mike Allison working on the baseline against James Hughes. Mishandles the ball. Kicks it out. That stepped in the passing lane is Tony Bennett. Here it comes in transition. And he can't score. Tony Bennett rises his head to the sky knowing to miss an opportunity there.
Heartbreak City.
Another turnover for Niagara. Here's Sharon Collins in transition. Thought about the shot, but closed out on by Sammy Zeglinski.
Told you, if you could shut down Sammy Zeglinski on both offense and defense, you got yourself a good game if you're the Express.
Commons from the mid-range. Nearly rattles it in off the backboard. But the shot is missed, and here come the River Lions. Opening basket still. Yeah, now it's on the scoreboard here. 2-0 Windsor. Logan Stutz in the low post. Let's see what this matchup's like. Stutz misses his opening shot. Tony Bennett saves it from going out of bounds. And we saw tons of that hustle against the St. John Millrats from Tony Bennett. 23 points for him, including some really clutch plays. Tell us a little bit about that game on Sunday, Aaron.
Well, Tony Bennett, I mentioned this once and I'll say it again. Come into the clutch, Mr. Sweet String Music, as we see a bucket by one James Hughes. But Tony Bennett really supplied some great assists and some great points in that Millrats game, which you'll talk about for the century to your grandchildren.
Another turnover from Niagara. They're really struggling early on here. And Brandon Robinson in transition. Like you said, Aaron, they played last night in the tough contest against the Orangeville A's. Maybe some fatigue setting in for Niagara here in the early going.
A little bit of jack lag right here. 6-0 start so far. And remember, folks, 4 days ago the Express played, so they got a lot of relaxation time in between these games. As for the River Lions, they're just coming from the Institute, so a little bit of jet lag as we see Logan Stutz knocks down a 3.
That didn't take long to cut that deficit in half. 6-3 now in the opening minutes here of the first quarter between the Niagara River Lions and the Windsor Express. Tony Bennett kicks it out to Commons. He steps in the three-point line, spinning, turning, rising, shooting, can't get it to fall. Tony Bennett gets the loose ball, back to Commons. And he finds an area, gives it over to James Hughes. He goes short on the mid-range jumper. But it's good to see those bigs contributing to one another.
Well, Windsor's really taken over on the big boy game without Daquan Cook on Niagara's sideline. So Windsor really did their homework here for the River Lions here for this contest tonight.
Niagara. Sammy in the corner for Sutherland. Long three at the end of the shot clock. No good. Mike Allison with the O-board. Follows it up and scores. That's the dynamic that Mike Allison brings. He's a veteran of this league. Very hard to contain on the offensive and defensive glass. We mentioned that in the pregame. Let's see how he contributes further. Mike Allison with a big bucket there.
No surprise, because Niagara's #1 in defensive and offensive rebounds, so it was great for him. As we see, Mr. Dependable put it in again.
Chris Commons knocks down another shot. 4 quick points for Chris Commons. We'll get our live stats up as soon as we can, folks. 4 minutes gone here in the opening quarter. 8-5, the Windsor Express lead. But here's Logan Stutz driving. Ooh, he just couldn't sneak it in on the left side with the right hand there.
Well, that's Logan Stutz' game for you. Offensively, he has no hesitation to drive inside. He never hesitates. He has a great drive into him. Gets close to the basket as close as he can, and potential MVP player right there for a big guy. He could really shoot from the mid-range, and he's really doing his traits justice.
So I'm trying to figure out some scoring issues at the table.
Well, Commons has 4 points. That goes without saying.
Yeah, exactly. And they're gonna reshoot. They're gonna rethrow this ball in. 8:08 remaining here in the first quarter. Thank you for joining us, like we said, from across the country and around the world. Only the best for our folks that tune into Knoxroom.tv. Make sure to click the HD tab in the bottom right corner of your screen. Tremar Sutherland has the ball knocked away from him. He gets it back over to Mike Allison, and then he draws a foul.
Well, the basket won't go, but good effort by both clubs. Windsor trying to get on the defensive rebounds. Niagara really persevering. That's why Mike Allison's going to go to the line, shoot a couple.
NBO fans may have been able to see Mike Allison as a member of the Mississauga Power last season, before they became the Raptors 905 of the NBA D-League. So he's seen a lot in this league, knows what it takes to win, and an early entrance is going to be charged against Allison, I believe, and the foul shot will not count.
Allison still a really great addition for the River Lions, for a team that has been involving more on the small ball game. It really brings depth when it comes to the rebounds as well and closing out.
Commons from 3, no. Now we're seeing a zone look from Niagara now as Sharon Collins steps into a 3. Wow, Tony Bennett with a big effort there. Kicks it back out to Brandon Robinson. Step back 3, no good.
Did you see Tony Bennett ride the elevator on that one? Man, what hops this fella has.
Tony Bennett made sure to tell me that 10 years ago, as a member of Bradley, he and his teammates beat the Kansas Jayhawks so in the NCAA tournament and made the Sweet 16. So maybe he's reliving some of that March Madness, as most of these players are. I'm remembering playing in the NCAA tournament. Sharon Collins won an NCAA championship with Kansas.
That was a great game. Kansas and Memphis. Beauty.
Tony Bennett for 3. Nah, no good. The one thing I always remember from that game, Derrick Rose not making his free throws and Mario Chalmers knocking down a 3 to send it overtime. And then you saw who was the more accomplished player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Mario Chalmers at least won a couple rings.
With Miami.
Yep. Brandon Robinson in transition after taking advantage of another Niagara turnover. Chris Commons looks at a 3, thought about it, gives it over to Tony Bennett. You know that's in Commons' range, so
Good kick out.
Brandon Robinson got the defender up in the air, missed the 3-ball, however.
See, Windsor's really suffering outside. Why go outside if you know you're not going to make it? Get close to the basket. That's supposed to be your game. And as I mentioned, the rebounding game's really going to step up tenfold now with this chess match right here. And because Windsor's still trying to, I think they're a little bit nervous when they shoot outside. And we see a tie ball game right here, so you can make a lot of assumptions out of that as we see both clubs going to take a timeout.
Yeah, we're going to have our first set of substitutions heading into the game after this timeout. 8-8, the Windsor Express and Niagara River Lions are battling here in the first quarter on Knockstrom.tv. Like we said, folks, thank you for joining us across Canada and around the world. And now a simple word from our humble servant, Alejandro de Armero.
Brett, Aaron, is just to say a big shout to David Akima and Lisa O, who are watching our game.
Thank you very much for tuning in, for everyone, and commenting on the YouTube stream. Make sure to join the conversation on Twitter as well. Make sure to give my friend Aaron Sanders a follow on Twitter, Sanders Windsor. Make sure to follow Knockstrom Digital Media as well for all of your live streaming needs. And make sure to give the Windsor Express and, of course, the Niagara River Lions a follow on Twitter as well, and NBL Canada Live. Now, Aaron, you actually produce your own podcast. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and the Frostcast, as you like to call it?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Frostcast, like I say in my intro, all basketball all the time. So I basically keep it in the local perspective. I talk about, experiences, like, for example, for the youth, being cut or not making a team or losing a game. I give them tips to encourage them, because this podcast is basically for those who are have little or no experience about basketball. I appreciate you guys if you give it a listen. AaronSanders.podbean.com is where you'll catch the Frostcast. And I did my last program, I sat down with Mitch Kobe K, and we had a wonderful time discussing various basketball topics.
Absolutely.
Brett, Aaron, question about how many fans do you think are right now here at the WFCU?
WFCU Center, I'd say that we've been drawing over 1,000 for each game. We're about that tonight, but it's tough to see. During the first quarter, lots of people coming and going, so we'll be able to tell more about halftime, 3-quarter mark.
But it's a great pop out for all these crowds, especially in the rainy nights. For your folks out there around Canada, it is raining down here in Windsor, raining cats and dogs, man.
Yeah,
I'll tell you. But you got to admire the fan support that the Express has been
a lot of our
receiving.
From what I can tell, a lot of our courtside area is filling up, and our grandstand area is filling up as well here. So the WFCU Center fits about 6,000 people. When as we see BJ Montiero making a nice and one play there out of the timeout. About 6,000 people. Most Express fans we've had in one game was our opening game 3-4 years ago. And I believe we had just over 3,000. Alex, you were there for that game, right? Tell us a little bit about the first game ever in Windsor Express history.
The first game?
Yes.
Oh, it was a full house. Remember, it was a full house, and people were so excited to come and see the game.
And of course, the Windsor Express have hosted arguably the biggest games in league history. The only game 7s in his league history have been in here. One against London, one against the Island Storm, one against the Orangeville A's last year. Sorry, the Brampton A's. And it's been a lot of fun here being a part of this Knockstrom crew, being a part of NBL Canada history. So
I remember I was in the stands during the Island Storm game as we see
Tony
Mr.
Bennett.
Sweet String Music knock down a tray. But I remember being at Game 7 against the Island Storm, and boy, we packed this bad boy up to the rafters to see the Windsor Express win their first NBLC championship. Best team in the league that year.
As you see, Clinton Springer with a basket there.
And now you flash forward 2 years later, Windsor on a quest to be the first three-peat team in the league, becoming a definite dynasty.
Absolutely, but in their way, a lot of very, very, very talented teams. As we see Shaquille Keith try to answer BJ Montiero's and one with one of his own, but he can't knock down the basket, but he will go to the free throw line.
Shaqie Keith, one of the most dominant players on the Windsor Express. He really has a smart IQ. Even when he goes inside, he knows there's a couple of fellas open down at the wing, so he refers to be a role model to his teammates if Chris Commons is out, because for a guy of his stature, it brings really a great definite depth to the Windsor team when it comes to assists, and he has that big body, so you got that power in the paint.
Shaquille Keith knocks down both free throws, making it a 13-13 ball game. Shaquille Keith, a first-year NBO Canada rookie, as we see Logan Stutz with a backcourt violation. They'll say that Tony Bennett disrupted the ball, went off of Logan, went across the timeline, and that is a backcourt violation.
Yeah, but the survey says it's the express ball. Windsor really needs to find some way to get off the outside game and really drive inside. It's a really even game, and you really have to take the edge in this.
In the corner, Shaquille Keith driving, kicks it out to Tony Bennett on the baseline for three. Yes, can't get it to fall, but two. Niagara River Lions fight over the basketball, and it ends up out of bounds.
Poor communication right there on the River Lions' part. Both players on that squad trying to fight for the rebound, and they were so close in the paint, so that really results in that error.
Brett,
Yes.
Aaron, who do you think the Windsor Express will protect at the end of the season?
That's a good question.
Tony Bennett, no question.
Maybe these are questions that Aaron could answer at halftime with our fans if we line up some questions on for that. Yeah, we can have those fans tune in as well. We can have their reactions, and maybe we can even have some of their tweets read online during the halftime show. A little bit of interactive fun for our fans.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter, leave your comments there, and we'll answer them at the halftime show, you better believe.
Absolutely. Make sure to follow Aaron Sanders at A Sanders Windsor if you want to tweet some questions. As we see an errant pass in the corner from Tony Bennett will turn into a turnover, and the River Lions trail 16-13. Late 16-13.
This game's becoming really sloppy, and we're only about 8 minutes 30 seconds in, and it's really sloppy on both clubs. Express went out on a great tearing lead, as we see a layup missed.
Good positioning from Chris Commons there to get that rebound, but it's unfortunately turned over. Adam Blazik in transition, can't knock it down. Brandon Robinson up to Kirk Williams Jr. for a two-handed slam.
You better believe, ladies and gentlemen, that's a top tenor right there going off the transition game. Sloppy game, but the Express really trying to pick up on the tempo.
Kirk Williams Jr. providing those energy plays, as always. The NBO Canada Finals MVP from a season ago. Getting it done from the 6th and 7th man spot, a place that he loves to play from.
Wait a minute. Here we go.
Good no call there. Chris Commons taking the bump there from
Good
Tony
back
Bennett.
door.
Sorry. Had to make that call there. Tony Bennett couldn't knock it down.
1 on 3. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Clinton Springer Williams nearly makes that acrobatic play.
Try to pull a Houdini.
Hoopdini. Try and pull a Hoopdini.
Now that's a good one.
That's right. Sharon Collins checks into the game now in favor of Tony Bennett after he couldn't score in transition. Springer Williams, a former Carleton Raven, playing under the factory that is under Dave Smart, and a program that just won their 6th straight CIS National Men's Basketball title. A team that was actually ranked 2nd in Ontario under the Ryerson Rams. Ryerson defeated Carleton in the OUA championship before Carleton getting it done once again, just winning national championships at all. It's very impressive to see what they do. And their head coach had taken a sabbatical as well. So Dave Smart, I believe it was Rob Smart, his nephew, that took over the team this year, and they won a national championship again. So my shout out to the CIS Carleton Ravens there, and that's my spiel for the day. As in transition, Niagara River Lions, Sammy Zaglinski for 3, bang!
Sammy Zags, what did I say? You got to really close out on him real tight, or else he'll beat you off the dribble with them shots.
For former Virginia Cavalier, his team still in the NCAA tournament as Chris Commons lines up a 3 and he answers the bell.
Chris Commons, Mr. Dependable. All of you know he could shoot pretty much anywhere, shoot the lights out. And when the Express need a little jump the most, you turn in to number 24.
Sammy Zaglinski gets around a pair of Windsor Express defenders, finds Mike Allison in the low post. He gathers himself, can't get it to fall.
Heartbreak City. Look at that. Look at that.
And a three is made. Big shot from number 32, Samuel Muldrow.
Sammy Muldrow, 6'9", 230-pounder from South Carolina. Fantastic, fantastic player. Considering with that three, he's been 6 for 15 this month. But that's really hard to see as we see a rebound made.
A big shot for the Niagara River Lions nonetheless from a big man. It's always good to get that contribution from a stretch 4, stretch 5 kind of guy.
Fantastic effort.
Sammy Zaglinski nearly loses it. Billy Rush gets his hand on it. Sammy Zaglinski stepped out of bounds.
Tried to tightrope the sideline in that traffic. That didn't go for him.
Billy Rush being entered into the game, making his an appearance against his former team. Billy Rush used to play for the River Lions, and now we see Denny McDonald entering the game for the Windsor Express, number 12.
Few new acquisitions for the Windsor Express. They're really trying to add up on the depth, try to continue the winning trend.
Billy Rush, no good, off the heel on that three-pointer. You know that he can dial it down from distance. He just hasn't found his stroke for the team yet.
Still early on in his career as a Windsor Express, and we see another three. Great wow.
Beautiful.
Are you kidding me?
Let's look at that. Let's look at some stats from Denny McDonald, number 12. Just went up and grabbed that rebound.
Denny McDonald, 6'6" guy, straight up from Trinity Western.
CIS school in British Columbia. The Trinity Western Spartans, as Brandon Robinson gets a steal there, and he'll draw a foul against Zaglinski.
It's a good foul right there.
Zaglinski and Brandon Robinson, two former members of the Island Storm. They know each other very well, and obviously a dynamic battle between two of the best guards in the league, right? Going on between Robinson and Zaglinski.
Robinson, one of the most reliable players on the Windsor Express, despite him being new. He came in the new year.
Couple games of into the regular season.
Couple games in the regular season, and so far he's been firing up numbers. He's been supplying some double doubles as we see 3 seconds to go, and if that goes in, I'm eating my hat.
Denny McDonald's shot at the buzzer does not go. The Niagara River Lions take a 24-20 lead over the Windsor Express here after 1 quarter of play at the WFCU Center. When we return, more of Windsor Express basketball on Knockstrom.tv.
Do you love me?
Of course I love you. Hey, guess what? I got a job interview tomorrow.
Hunter, you're not listening. How do you know that my love for you is real? Is any of this real?
You have delusional psychosis.
Quote, you're now working for a powerful drug cartel.
I want to get out of here and move on. I've been stuck in this. Sometimes love can blind people from reality.
I didn't know this. Oh yeah, they're an hour ahead of us. Oh.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to the WFCU Center. We're to kick off second quarter action here between the Windsor Express and Niagara River Lions. We had a question on the YouTube board about not being able to see their the screen. Fortunately, you're going to have to go into your settings, and you're going to have to reformat it so that it's either auto or zoom out focus, because your screen is it's cropped. It's cropping the screen, and so it just has to do with the formatting as per Alex. That's what he's telling me. So any further questions, please let the man know, and I'm sure he'll try and get back to you.
We're on TV, Brett, apparently. It's always a good feeling.
A lot of big contributions here to making it all happen here on Knockstrom.tv. Here in the second quarter, Niagara up 4. Greg Carter turning on the Jets. Swing it out to Muldrow. Around the corner to Russ Conley. He's spinning in the lane, and he'll pick up a foul. They'll draw it against Denny McDonald. Looking at some first quarter stats here. We'll have Aaron analyze those as Russ Conley heads to the free throw line. A man who has been a big factor in the rebounding game for the River Lions coming off the bench. Conley.
Samuel Muldrow, leading scorer for the River Lions, 6 points. So basically 1/4 of what they have right now. Leading rebounder is Mike Allison. No surprise right there for the Windsor Express. Leading scorer, Chris Commons. Obviously no surprise right there. Just goes to show how great he is. And Tony Bennett leading the rebounds with 3.
So that all adds up to a 5-point deficit right now after a split pair of free throws from Russ Conley. Kirk Williams Jr.
Tried to kick out.
Muldrow knocked away that ball there. You got 6 seconds on the shot clock.
Look at the drive.
And a big effort right there, and there's the first basket for Denny McDonald.
And you said it right there, Brett. It's all about the effort. And the Windsor is really showing it up as we see a 4-on-2 opportunity. Hello! No, you cannot.
Oh, Billy Rush got mixed up with a player there, but ends up in Alex Johnson's hands.
Superman's in the building, folks.
Congratulations to Denny McDonald for knocking down his first bucket as a member of the Windsor Express. Trinity Western Spartan out of the CIS. And, oh, there he is, getting blocked there by Muldrow. Welcome to the league, young fella.
You gotta learn.
Tremar Sutherland with a big reverse layup there. And a foul going to be called on the rebound against BJ Montiero for Niagara. So it's going to be Windsor Express basketball.
Good effort on Windsor's defense, applying on the pressure. And referees really bit that. The Express get the ball back. They're down 3, but
lots of time left in this game, right? 25-22. This is a game of runs.
Windsor's been really low on the outside game, and they still have to drive. That's what they have to do. Drive, and show some great effort.
Bennett, mid-range, knocks it down. Tony Bennett, the jazz man, knocking it down from Sweet String Music.
Not surprised, a fadeaway.
Muldrow for 3, straight away, no good off this time, off the heel. Good effort from Conley there to get that offensive rebound. Denny McDonald had the position, but Conley just tipped it away. Carter, Sutherland, 3-ball, short. Almost deceived me there because it hit the mesh.
Yeah, the angle we were at, the net moved, but it didn't go in.
Reminds me of the Washington Wizards broadcast a little while ago as Tony Bennett knocks down a jumper there. Greg Carter looking for a push-off.
Tony Bennett already catching fire
here in the second quarter. Like I said, it reminds me of the Washington Wizards broadcast where their broadcasters were off to the side so they couldn't see the angle. As BJ Montiero takes the ball off the bounce and scores off the glass. And they thought that an air ball had knocked down a game-winning 3. And so they're like, wait, why aren't the players celebrating? They're like, oh, because it was an air ball.
I seen that game. It's similar to
Billy Rush.
Billy Rush right there.
Scoring a bucket against his old team. Welcome to the scoreboard. Billy Rush, nice job. Wasn't able to find his stroke from mid-range, so he goes to the basket and gets it done. Muldrow for 3, answers the bell. Triple there, ties this game up at 20. Nope, sorry, it takes the lead, 30-28.
Could this be a shootout in the making? Tony Bennett catching fire, Sam Muldrow catching fire outside.
Alex Johnson over to Tony Bennett, finding his way for Denny McDonald. He takes a bump, no good. Montiero over to Muldrow. He's going to line it up again from 3, no good. And there's a big rebound from Billy Rush there. Bennett picks up his dribble, gives it over to Johnson. Johnson will draw a foul on Sutherland. And a bunch of subs are going to come into the game. Chris Commons and James Hugh for the Express. Clinton Springer, Logan Stutz, and Sammy Zaglinski enter the game for the River Lions.
Obviously adding depth to the Windsor lineup for Niagara. With Springer Williams back in the game, they're going to try to set in more with the small ball.
Johnson. Tony Bennett on the curl. Kicks it out to Commons. He's got a shot. No, Tremar Sutherland flies by. Mid-range. No good. Chris Commons. Zaglinski in transition. Sutherland. Over to Stutz. Top of the key. Blocked from James Hughes, and it went off of Stutz.
Good anticipation
Oh,
by
no.
Hughes.
They'll say it went off of James Hughes.
Well, regardless, it was great anticipation by Hughes, and replay might have already gone right now, but
Nope.
It was right there when it started, and
The officials confirmed. Jeff Astle said yes, it did go off of Hughes last, so it will be no River Lions ball. Zaglinski, nice crossover in the middle of the key, kicks it up to Sutherland, foot's on the line, so it's going to be a long 2.
good possession for the River Lions right there, creating gaps outside and being able to fill it in with a good 3.
Commons. Behind the back pass to Alex Johnson for 3, and it's good.
Superman, he's here.
That makes this a 1-point game once again, 32-31, 7:15 remaining in the second quarter.
Oh, what a dirty tornado spin, but look who's there to tip it back in. Logan Stutz, 6'9" from Washburn.
Billy Rush in transition. He can't finish the reverse layup, but Hughes is there. Tony Bennett's got the loose ball now. Commons swings it over to Johnson. The pass is disrupted, but Billy Rush has it now. Billy Rush from 3, no, over to Chris Commons at the top of the key. He gets his way in the middle of the key,
There you
and
go.
Hughes finishes
Wow.
the drive.
Good awareness by Chris Commons. He knew he was creating traffic right there, but he's seen an open fella. And Stutz again. Try to connect with the outside shot. But Tony Bennett, what do you know? It's there for the read.
A nice game here forming here in the second quarter. 1-point contest between the River Lions and the Express. Like we said, a big swing in the Central Division momentum for either team should they pick up a victory today.
Well, a couple of teams, these teams are a few wins within each other. With the resurgence of the River Lions, it will go to pretty much anybody this game. 1-point game. We've seen it was sloppy a little bit, little miscommunications by both clubs, but this game's still really tight. They're still trying to find their momentum, trying to find their tempo. And with Windsor getting the ball on the base, anything could go. They could lead.
That's right. We're midway here through the second quarter here on Knoxstrom.tv. Brett Hedges and Aaron Sanders on the call. Hey, folks, if you got some questions for Aaron Sanders at halftime, make sure to tweet him at @SandersWindsor as Chris Commons makes a beautiful move there and scores with a mid-range floater.
You've seen it, that replay, a diaper dandy.
Zaglinski steps inside the three-point line. Over to Allison. Back to Zaglinski. No one underneath the basket, so he kicks it up to Springer Williams. Stutz with a rebound there, but it ends up in the hands of Hughes.
What I see from Springer Williams, he is not intimidated when somebody has their hand in his face. Really pulls up. It just goes to show how powerful he is off the dribble. Speaking of off the dribble, Tony Bennett putting in a little tap dancer, which prompts into a Groslo-Coley timeout.
And the Windsor Express will take a lead on that bucket. The Express lead 35-34 here with 5:19 remaining in the second quarter. And folks, make sure to check out Knoxstrom Digital Media on Twitter, and of course our website, www.knoxstrom.com. The best live stream service in Windsor, Essex County. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel as well for some of our original programming. You never know, in the summer we might have to bring back Jock Talk, Alex.
Oh,
That would be great.
We'll have to do something like that, and folks, we'll have some fun stuff going around this summer. So make sure to join us, the conversation on Twitter. If you've got some questions for Aaron Sanders about his thoughts about the league, anything like that, let's give him a follow at @SandersWindsor. He'll have a couple of questions, and maybe he'll read your tweets out to you as well. A little bit of fun that we're having with our fans here. Now let's make it a little bit more interactive as we're getting to the end of the season here.
Good anticipation, great support from the fans, and let's give a quick shout out to the NBL Canada fans on Facebook. And we mentioned this over and over again, but you gotta really give it to the fellow fans of our league who are really supportive in their leagues and with our teams. What more can we say? Great support, and we hope this continues for a long time.
Coming out of the timeout, the Windsor Express up 3 points, 37-34 after that jumper from Tony Bennett. And Aaron, we've seen Tony Bennett obviously for a long time here at the Windsor Express, but for some fans that don't know about what's going on, about what kind of guy and what kind of dynamic he brings, what can you tell us about Tony Bennett?
Oh man, when he shoots off the dribble, look out. When he starts shooting a string of shots, you gotta look out for him too. He reminds me.
James Hughes with a block there.
Great block by James Hughes once again. But Tony Bennett, he reminds me of Vinnie Johnson from the Bad Boys of the Detroit Pistons. I don't know, when he gets those threes going, you cannot stop him. We've seen that when they played Brampton in the playoffs, Game 2 last year.
Wow. Hello, Shaquille Keith. Puts the Niagara River Lions in the spin cycle and scores at the cup.
Shacky, baby.
And just so you know, Shaquille Keith was named after Shaquille O'Neal. He told us himself.
Well, figure that. He's our Shaquille O'Neal in the NBLC, and he's really doing the name justice. Shacky Keith. We see Springer Williams drawing a foul, and Shaq Keith isn't happy about it, but
a lot of emotion being shown on the sidelines there from the Windsor Express after that play.
Rules.
You know that the Express feed off of their defense so much, and they fuel off that. It's so unfortunate to see when a play like that draws a foul, but. What can you say? It's part of the game. It's rules. I'm sure there was some contact, but it's always the fun. We've got the hockey view, like we said. We're up here at the mid-range, the skyline level, so we don't get to see the lower things that happen in the game.
We're high above the western sideline, that's for sure.
Yes.
Just a big shout out to our 77 viewers.
What up, 77 viewers? You make me whole.
Knockstrom 77.
But then after we have like a 500 views
on the replays. Yeah,
on the replays.
Our replays have been doing very well. We appreciate everybody that views every single broadcast on every single night. We appreciate you from tuning in across the country and around the world. We've broadcasted in as many as 26 different countries. That's a fact, and we're hoping to lead the way for the Windsor Express as James Hughes goes down after drawing a foul there.
Well, he tried to create contact right there, but unfortunately that could do a toll to the Express as he is still grounded.
Yeah, we just met James Hughes a little while ago. He brings a lot of different dynamic to the team. Haven't seen him in too many games. We saw him against St. John a little bit, playing in a limited role, getting a few rebounds, and I believe he scored his first basket tonight. But what a blow this would be for the Express.
And especially how great he's been playing defensively. Two key blocks as he is slow to get up gingerly. I'm assuming upper body injury.
So he came from Northern Illinois University, so I'm sure that he's been riding a high as of late with a high and then a low, I'm assuming, because of the NIU buzzer beater in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Man.
And then, unfortunately, the 12-point comeback in the last 34 seconds against Texas A&M, which they lost. So crazy things have happened in the NCAA tournament, and I'm sure everyone's watching this weekend.
Sweet 16 starts tonight. As far as I'm concerned, 4:20 to go as we see James Hughes retaliating and connecting on the first free throw. Oh, correction, Brandon Robinson. What was I thinking? Earth the air in there.
4:20 remaining here in the second quarter. Brandon Robinson's free throw makes it 41-35 here at the WFCU Center between the Niagara River Lions and the Windsor Express.
And again, to piggyback on the support we've been getting on our live streams, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching us. This is really a global game, and we appreciate all the feedback and the support. And for you, the viewers watching, whether on your TV sets or on the internet, it's really beneficial to us. Thank you on behalf of the Windsor Express on Knockstrom.tv team.
Absolutely. Theo Davis got away with one. No, Clinton Springer with a 3 in the corner. Big shot there. We saw some bodies down low on the play before. Didn't know if there was a call going to be made with under 4 minutes to go here. It's a 3-point basketball game. 41-38, Chris Commons for 3. He answers the bell.
Oh, you're right about that. It's a 3-point game. Everybody's referring to the outside.
Chris Commons with another big bucket for the Windsor Express, taking a 6-point lead once again. Clinton Springer Williams blocked by Chris Commons there. The House of Commons stands tall.
That's what we've been saying. Inside defense really pays off. And really sets up Windsor on the great transition game. They've been doing real well on the transition.
Yeah, and their defensive transition game has been strong.
Wow.
I agree with you there. Shaquille Keith will draw the foul on that play. And a little bit more about the rookie from Brampton, Ontario. Recently learned that he went to Cape Breton in the CIS for 2 seasons before he went to Kilgore College before he eventually turned pro. So this guy's got a story of his own. He's a hometown guy, Brampton guy, and heart of gold, if I may so say so myself. Really good guy. Always has time every time we've asked him for a quote or anything like that, because we all work in the newspaper business as well. So always good to see him embracing the community as well. And I asked him, he says he really likes Windsor. So
he's giving Windsor his just due. I mean, his story is phenomenal. Can't have a better, decent guy than him.
Adam Blazek can't finish in tight. Sharon Collins, who just came into the game, loses it. Oh, no, they're going to call a foul late, the same as Zaglinski, I believe. No, they're going to call Blazek coming in late. Yes.
Grasla Coley obviously detesting on that, disagreeing, but Windsor's not really concerned about it as they are set to go to the line.
As I see here, there's a couple questions being asked, lining up here for you on Twitter there, Aaron. We'll make sure to grab those at halftime. Make sure to tune in for the halftime report on Knockstrom.tv. Couple of questions coming in on both sides, yeah.
And I will answer them.
Having a little fun today. Having some fun. Like we said, we're not experts by any means, but we can give our opinion.
We gave it our best shot, too.
Yep. Logan Stutz finds himself an opening. A hole in the Express defense leads to a wide open shot there. What was a 10-point lead for the Express is now down to 8.
Well, Logan Stutz, you got to admire what he does. When he drives, he never stops. He finishes strong no matter where he is. Even if he's in traffic, he will do all he can to draw fouls. And he is a beast, a better term thereof, defensively. When he boxes out, man, he has a pretty low box out. And as you've seen here, finishes strong, connecting on the end one.
48-41, 3 minutes to go. Chris Commons looking to answer, just off the mark. He had that dead line just off to the side a little bit. You give him that shot 10 times, I'm saying he's going to make that 7 out of 7 at least, 7 or 8 out of 10.
Unfortunately, that was 3 of the 10 he missed, but a pretty high percentage.
Absolutely. Sammy Zaglinski working his way inside the offensive zone. Blazek for 3, no good.
Seen a little physicality right there with Mike Allison.
Theo Davis matching up with him. Sharon Collins, a rock chalk Jayhawk, former Kansas Jayhawk out of the Big 12 national champion in 2008. Like we said, he beat part of that team that beat the Memphis Tigers as Brandon Robinson scores.
And for all we know, Brett, Kansas is still alive in March Madness.
And Tony Bennett, make sure to let him know this week that Bradley beat Kansas 10 years ago. In 2006, he wanted me to let him know that too. And I'm sure if there's Tremar Sutherland there with a big 3.
Trey.
Well done. 50-43, the score now, just under 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Getting ready for halftime here. Setting up a high screen and roll. Brandon Robinson from Theo Davis. Over in the corner to Sharon Collins. Stepping his way, working against Blazik. Crossing over. Nearly scoring. You see that skill set. That skill set that saw Sharon Collins play in the NBA for the Charlotte Bobcats for 20 games.
Really, well, it's really effective for the Windsor Express when you bring on those, when you bring on that arsenal.
Allison with a mid-range jumper, can't get it to fall. Chris Collins with a big rebound there. 1:19 to go here in the first half. Denny McDonald set to come in on the next possession. Sharon Collins over to Tony Bennett. High screen. Bennett, turnaround jumper. Leaves it short.
Yeah, he had too much power on that spin move and that fall away. He tried to use all that power, but didn't have enough force into that jumper.
And then Tony Bennett with a nice play there on the defensive side of the ball, swiping it away from Sammy Zaglinski. With 57 seconds remaining in the first half, we're going to have a timeout called, I believe, by the Windsor Express. Trying to defend against the River Lions here, trying to hold on to this 7-point lead and perhaps make it 10 before the end of the first half, Aaron.
Anything's possible for the Windsor Express. They really picked up the tempo real well, and defense has been great. Niagara, well, they're doing fair as well. They've been having more luck in the outside game than Windsor, but Windsor's not discouraged by this, by the way that they've been driving, getting close calls inside, and they've been setting up those great high screens real well. Pick and roll game's been there, so Niagara really got to retaliate and really have to second guess whether to take it to the hole or not, because now in this situation they really have to go small ball and let their small guys take charge. It's what they call little big men, so that's what they have to do.
Hey, Brett, Aaron, someone is asking what's your opinion on the London Lightning not streaming any live games anymore?
We can reserve that for halftime. Absolutely, and
We will
of
have
course.
that for halftime.
And make sure to tune in and make sure to send some questions to Aaron Sanders Windsor, A Sanders Windsor on Twitter as well, and make sure to follow Knockstrom Digital Media. We've got 57 ticks on the clock here before the end of the first half. Before Aaron will get to that.
Oh, we got some good stuff right here, and I'm gonna recap a game that is outside here. Speaking of outside, the outside shot wouldn't go, but the Mill Rats and the Hurricanes. Oh my goodness, that's all I have to say. 47 seconds here in this frame.
I might have to join you near the end of that halftime break, just to give you a little bit of a reprieve. That's a lot of questions going on there. So when you go to break, we'll come in and I'll come and help you out.
Fantastic, because there's a lot to talk about.
Brandon Robinson with a drive there. Danny McDonald getting his hands in on the loose ball. Blazik gets it over to Tremar Sutherland. Here we go.
It was a fumble at the 15, and Niagara makes a touchdown.
Nice play there. Nice Euro step from Tremar Sutherland. Now, the Windsor Express will have final shot here in the first half of play. 10 seconds to play. Sharon Collins at the helm. Let's see what he can do. Steps into a three. Off the mark. James Hughes. No. Danny McDonald. Zaglinski with a double dribble. Yes.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And they'll say that the play was at the end of the half. No time will be put on the halftime clock as far as I know.
Nothing's going on.
Let's just double check here, make sure that nothing's going on. Graz Lacole looking to speak with the officials. Bill Jones making sure that everything's good to go. And that will do it. Okay. That is the end of the books for one half. We're going to send it over to Aaron Sanders for the halftime report shortly. And me and Alex will break down the first half while Aaron gets ready. Sounds good?
All right, I'll see you up there, folks.
Yeah, you will. It's 50-45 for the Windsor Express over the Niagara River Lions at halftime. Alex, what are your thoughts about the first half, my friend?
It was a really, really dynamic game. You can see how the things are speed up. As Aaron was saying in the beginning, it was a little sloppy. It was kind of they're both teams trying to find out the right ways, trying to decipher each other riddle and
feeling each other out, so to speak. Feeling each other out. Yeah, taking some body punches in the first couple of rounds.
Yeah, just having kind of an idea of what's the game plan and trying to decipher the positions, the intentions, and the strategy, and by the second half, the game was settled up.
Absolutely. We're going to head over to take a quick break before we go over to the Aaron Sanders halftime report. It's been a blast here. The Windsor Express up 50-45 over the River Lions here on Knockstrom.tv.
And here I am, back once again. Another installment of the Knockstrom halftime. The Windsor Express leading by 5 over the River Lions, 50-45. Knockstrom halftime with Aaron Sanders bringing it to you. Hi, everybody. We got a lot to cover here, but let's just talk about the first half. In the early goings in the first quarter, it was really sloppy games. Neither team couldn't find out what their tempo or what the character of their game is. But Windsor went out on a great tear at the beginning, and then Niagara came crawling back, and then when the second quarter started, that's where Windsor started picking up on the tempo. Niagara referring to the outside game, and quite surprising considering that their game has been small ball lately with the leadership of Sammy Zaglinski, especially with Traymar Sutherland adding to it and to the three-point range and whatnot. But that was Niagara's game. Windsor's game, they're really trying to step it up more on the transition. They're doing that well. They're trying to cut inside. Great looks inside as well. Finding gaps. They didn't refer to the wing as much, which is great for them because obviously when you go to the wings, you have more attention from the defense. So Windsor's doing well, thus leading 50-45 at halftime. Break away from this, we'll talk about the out-of-town scores between St. John Millrats and Halifax Hurricanes. You could put this game in the fridge because the Hurricanes once again showing why they're the cream of the crop of the Atlantic Division, defeating the Millrats 127-93, beating them by about 34 points. Doug Herring Jr. is the Millrats player of the game with 17 points, but Justin Johnson, no surprise, considering he was player of the week last week. Player of the game right here, 31 points, and surprisingly enough, the Hurricanes displayed 58% in shooting. That really got to their shooting range, and they really caught fire. So once again, they're staying at the top of the Atlantic Division. St. John Millrats, not so distant from them. And now, speaking of the Millrats, we'll just go straight to the player of the week. Most of you know him, Gabe Freeman, 6'6" forward from Costa Mesa, plays for the St. John Millrats, averaging 20.9 points per game and 8.9 rebounds as well. That is close to a double-double, folks, and it gets better than that. This fella can lead transitions. He sets up well on defense, and I'll tell you how it does. He sets up in the paint, he gets ready to set up for a block, and that really starts up the transition game for the Millrats, and he is really fair off the dribble. So when he goes for a pull-up jumper, you may think he's slow on the release, but you know what they say, silent but deadly, slow shot, but a really beautiful release. Thus, he is a player of the game. Incidentally, Gabe Freeman was part of the Rochester Razor Sharks in the PBL last year, who went undefeated and won the championship with the Millrats coach, Rob Spahn. Talk about a great connection right there. So, the more on Gabe Freeman, Now, he was part of the London Lightning team that won the NBLC championship back in 2011-2012, and that year, he won Player of the Week honors three times. That is really great. When we return, I'm going to have Brett Hedges here. We're going to answer some of your tweets and see what we have in store for the second half. But at the half, it's the Express 50, the Niagara River Lions 45. We'll be back following this commercial timeout. You are watching the Knoxstrom Halftime.
Do you love me?
Of course I love you. Hey, guess what? I got a job interview tomorrow.
Hunter, you're not listening. How do you know that my love for you is real? Is any of this real?
You have delusional psychosis.
Look, you're now working for a powerful drug cartel.
I want to get out of here and move on. It's not gonna. Sometimes love can blind people from reality.
And look who I have here, ladies and gentlemen, part of the Knoxstrom Halftime, Brett Hedges. Most of you know him, play-by-play for the Windsor Express, doing well. And let's answer some tweets. We got some nice tweets here, and I'll let you lead it.
Absolutely, and first and foremost, our big shout out to one of our fans, John James, who is unfortunately home sick. He is in good hands, though. Thank you for tweeting that in, Shannon, at Shannon Superfan. Make sure to join us in for next time on Knoxstrom.tv. We're going to be trying to do this a little bit every time just to see some appreciation to some of our fans from across the league and to give you some insight about what we're doing here on Knoxstrom.tv and of course, what's going on across the league. Aaron?
Doesn't get better than that. Hello, Shannon and John. We're thinking of you. And it's always great to have some great Windsor Express fans as well, the NBLC fans out there. We have another tweet here from David Yakima, at Dave Yakima, not so long ago. And the question is posed, at the end of the year, who do you think the Windsor Express will protect? Up to 6 players.
Well, yeah, we've got 6 players that are as part of the typical protected list, and a couple of those spots are really easy to fill if you're me. Sammy Zaglinski, of course, that's got to be your number 1 spot. He's franchise leader in assists, obviously, record breaker in assists per year. You've got Logan Stutz, who can be a protected player as well. He was a first overall pick in this year's draft. A first round pick, cut by London, picked up from Niagara. A huge pickup. And you got to look also to some role guys as well when you're looking at some protected players. You got to look at a guy like maybe Mike Allison, who's been able to provide some really good minutes for the River Lions, starting and coming off the bench, making some really big plays on the offensive and defensive glass, chipping in points. So he would be my pick as a veteran that you might want to sign in this league. Sammy and Logan's a rookie. Sammy's been in this league for a while, and he knows what it takes to win at this league. So I would say that those three would be my top, but the bottom three, you could interchange them. It depends on what the situation is for a lot of these players. We don't want to talk about what's going on in the offseason because this year has been so fantastic, and when everything does come to an end, we'll be able to assess it then. But it is important to look ahead to the future. So to put that in perspective, this is an important question to have. So the bottom three could be interchangeable. What about you, Aaron? Who would you put in there?
Well, I'll start with Windsor. Windsor, they have 6 players. I see Chris Commons coming back. They got to keep Tony Bennett. You need somebody that could play small ball well. Maurice Bolden, who has really showed some great improvements since being acquired. Did I say Brandon Robinson yet? Yeah, I did already, eh? Shaq Keith. I think they're going to keep Shaq Keith. I mean, the guy's a big boy. He really powers through the net. That's 4 of them. The last 2, it could go either way. I mean, we could either keep... Yeah, we keep 2 of them. What else? What do you think,
Like
Brett?
you said, there's a lot of very dynamic players on each roster that could very well fit in those protected list spots as we go forward. But it's important to know that everyone essentially is a free agent at the end of the year. So that's important to know as we go forward into to prelude a little bit about how difficult it is, perhaps even to persuade some guys. You never know what's going to happen, like we said. So the bottom 3 spots, if I was a guessing man for the Niagara River Lions, I'd say a guy like maybe Daquan Cook, who's been really valuable to them since the beginning of the year. That's 4. Number 5, maybe Russ Conley, a guy like a glue guy, like you said. But if there's a scorer that's coming off the bench or someone that they feel can improve, maybe a Canadian, maybe someone else that they can improve and maybe solidify as they go forward, then that's a smart move to go ahead too. So we'll be able to go first year for the franchise. A lot of questions to be had on everyone. Every franchise has these questions every year. So
it may be a lot of questions, but this team has a lot of potential. Look where they are now with Grassluck Coley really taking over the coaching helm. You said they were 7-1 in the division, so really goes to show how powerful of a powerhouse they are coming to the playoffs time. Before we sign off on the Knoxham halftime, get back to the second half, I would like to make a tribute, if you will. Now, most of you, if you watch sports, you grew up with the sportscasters of Marv Albert, Kevin Harlan, Kevin Calabro, Kurt Gowdy. Unfortunately, the sports world suffered a major loss in one Joe Garagiola. He passed away yesterday at the age of 90. For those of you that don't know him, he was a baseball player turned sportscaster. So on the field, he played baseball. Above the field, he broadcasted baseball. And off the field, he did much more stuff like entertainment shows, game shows, and whatnot. And I look to him as an inspiration to multitask, because there's a lot more to do than sports, but he really did it with a flair. I mean, I think he had that personality of he could be your Uncle Joe or whatnot. That's the type of warm personality he has, and that's what I'll take from him. Granted, I regret not meeting him, but he was a great guy and a great sportscaster. He will be missed, Brett.
Absolutely. And of course, as we all are broadcasters across the league, there are some technical difficulties that we come across with. Of course, the situation in London has garnered a lot of attention, and I feel that some of the attention is a little bit unfair. We know that we're friends with a lot of these broadcasters and of course these crews. We know how hard they work, and we know that their work sometimes goes a little bit unnoticed. But we want you guys to know that we know that everyone in this league is working as hard as we can to bring the best product to you guys, the fans, as possible. So I felt that it was really a good of the organization to release a statement regarding their stance about what's going on with their live stream. I understand it was upsetting. It was a very big game for London at the time. It was Raise the Light event for women's abuse. It was the Purple Game. It was a very big crowd. And they do have the replay up on the NBL Canada and the YouTube channel as well. So it is up now, unfortunately unavailable to be live. But to be fair, we've had similar situations like that for Knoxham.tv as well. We've been unable to broadcast certain games over the years because of technical difficulties. And we've been able to work through that and find ways to better ourselves and better the league with those practices. So I would like to ask everyone to have some faith in us and have some faith in everyone that's doing this across the league. We're doing it for the betterment of everyone, and we're trying to do the best that we can. So that's all I have to say about the London situation. Thank you for joining in. That's going to do it for us here on the Knoxstrom Halftime Report. When we come back, the second half call between the Niagara River Lions and the Windsor Express. Here we go.
And first of all, Brett, it was done professionally and eloquently with the situation. We thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, from my behalf, thank you for joining us on the Knoxstrom Halftime. We are officially back for the Windsor Express on Knoxstrom.tv. Windsor has a 5-point edge over the Niagara River Lions as the second half begins with Sharon Collins has the ball. Gives it to Commons. Commons to Kirk Williams Jr. Williams Jr. gives it back to Collins. Collins directing the play. Here's Bennett. Bennett tried to go inside, but kicks it back outside to Commons. Commons looking for room. Instead, pops up for a 3. It's off the top. No good, but look who's there to seal the deal. It is one, Kirk Williams Jr. to start the second half.
Kirk Williams Jr. with a big bucket there for the Windsor Express. They're up 52-45 here in the opening minute of the second half. Brett Hedges and Aaron Sanders joining you here on Knoxstrom.tv. Thank you for joining us on the Knoxstrom Halftime Report. Hopefully you got some of those tweets out there. Hopefully some of your answers, some of your questions were answered. And hopefully we continue with a great call here in the second half between these two fantastic teams in the NBL Canada Central Division.
Let's keep it going. Great teams, good potentials. We might see these guys in the first round, but then again, you could never tell in the NBLC. Stranger things have happened. As we see a miss, the Windsor Express gets the ball back.
Sharon Collins working around a pair of screens in the corner. Chris Commons saw he had an opening there, and now he's working against Mike Allison.
Good setup.
And it will be Niagara basketball. Here come the River Lions.
River Lions obviously still trying to find the tempo of their game. And they might with that bucket. Oh, well, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But
Logan Stutz can't stuff it in from the near side. Transition, Tony Bennett can't get it to fall. Kirk Williams Jr. had the rebound just squirt out of his hands.
9 times out of 10, he'll get that. Wow, beautiful move. Beautiful
Tremar Sutherland, beautiful finish there to trim the deficit to 5.
So Windsor is playing most likely small ball with their lineup here as we see Brandon Robinson stop, pop, and drop for a 3. A little changing of the guard for temporarily here at the start of the second half, but it's working out so far because their outside game has really stepped up from what we've seen in the previous 2 quarters.
And unable to figure it out.
Wow, there's a train for you.
Kirk Williams Jr. with the bucket there.
KJW really adding more depth to the Windsor lineup. And look who had an emphasis on the defense, B-Rob.
B-Rob getting it done for the Windsor Express. Now they're up 57-47 here. Some of our halftime stats being showed up on the Jumbotron here.
Impressive. Both of these squads' field goal percentage really close by 2%. Niagara 41. Well, you're gonna add a little bit more percentage right there with that beauty from Sammy Zeggs. 10 turnovers compared to Windsor's 5. So Windsor's really getting an upper edge on the turnovers. Well, less turnovers rather. Put it any way you put it, folks.
Kirk Williams Jr. getting on the recipient of the Brandon Robinson pass there.
Catching fire. That's got to be 3 goals in a row he made right there.
Kirk Williams Jr. providing an impact for the Windsor Express early in the second half. They're up 59-50.
Impact is right as we see Mike Allison, who couldn't connect.
Tremar Sutherland, beautiful turnaround. Good effort on the offensive glass there for Sutherland.
He got the great idea of creating contact. Windsor might call a little bit indifference on the late call. but Sutherland is really smart. He had a great IQ, and that's what it's all about in the NBLC, creating contact inside to draw a foul, because we got some pretty interesting and great free throw shooters here, no matter what team you look at.
Two free throws there from Tremar Sutherland, trims the deficit to 7 points. Sharon Collins at the helm for the Windsor Express.
Sharon, you gotta really admire the skills he's been putting up for Windsor since he got acquired.
Brandon Robinson driving baseline, has his shot blocked, and will go off of Robinson last. And it will be Niagara basketball.
Still give the benefit of the doubt to Niagara, keeping this a close game even without Daquan Cook. They're trying to find answers as they got the ball picked off before the timeline. Niagara still trying to find answers. If they want to get an answer, they have to really go inside. And once again, folks, the final score from the center in Halifax, the Hurricanes 127, Millrats 93. Millrats look like they're going to have to regroup after that loss, but it's been a resurging Millrats team, so I wouldn't let them down at any way, as we see KJW connect on another layup.
That's 8 points already for Kirk Williams Jr. here in the second half. The Windsor Express up 7 points, 61-54. Ziglinski has the ball swiped away from Brandon Robinson.
If there's one thing that folks should know, they should know how great Windsor is coming off the first half intermission and really going on fire in the third quarter as we see the layup, because that's been their niche for the last month and a half, really coming off strong inside the third quarter and just catching fire with the shots. A good steal.
Tremar Sutherland. Not sure what happened there, to be honest. Was there a grab from behind? There's a foul going to be called.
Before he
on
drove
Commons.
inside.
Yes. Yeah. Pardon me. Chris Commons charged with a foul.
His first, though. He shouldn't be worried.
Yeah, good to see Chris stay out of foul trouble. And a shout out to Kiata Commons. I know she's watching at home with her 3 children, so thank you for joining us and supporting us, Kiata. Logan Stutz for 3. It's good. That makes it a 2-point game. Now the downtown bomb.
I get more surprised and impressed by Logan Stutz' game lately. Now, most of you know he's great in the mid-range, but the way he pops out for the threes lately been great on Niagara's behalf.
Yeah, he's really been able to stretch the floor from that forward spot and get it done. Tony Bennett for 3 nearly gets it. And Chris Commons with another big board there, and he'll draw the foul.
Speaking of Chris Commons, before the intermission, he dropped 12 points, the game's leading scorer. And for Niagara, 8 points, the leading score. Yeah, 8 points. Well, we have a 3-way tie. Springer Williams, Sutherland, and Logan Stutz, which is no surprise. So, a little more team effort from Niagara despite their little struggles, but still anybody's game.
Oh, Mike Allison is denied inside. Here we go. Tony Bennett.
They have numbers.
Up to Kirk Williams Jr. for a big alley-oop slam. KJW.
No regard for human life. We're going to see that in the top tenor.
KWJ getting it done.
Windsor's picking up the momentum, and I think they picked too much momentum. Oh, wait a minute. That's a foul on Niagara.
Yes.
Windsor really picking up on the adrenaline and the momentum, and the WFCU faithful is going to... We'll tell you the story on that one.
Same as Ziglinski's second personal foul on the block just after that play there on the baseline. 63-59, the Windsor Express lead midway through the third quarter here. Thank you for joining us on Knockstrom.tv. Thank you for joining us during the halftime show featuring Aaron and myself. Hopefully you got a little bit of insight, and hopefully you got some answers, questions answered about the league and everything else.
Look at that. Shannon Watt is thanking all of us, and it made John's night. And it's always great to make anybody's night who follows the NBLC, and you know it's a great service upon us to serve and broadcast to all of you, our friends at home and watching on the internet.
We make by making John James' night, you've just made my night. So absolutely, and
Fantastic.
having some fun here. Midway through the third quarter here between the Windsor Express and Niagara River Lions. Windsor up 4 points. And make sure to tune in 2 days from now, folks. Our next home game, March 26th, against the league-leading London Lightning. It should be another exciting edition of NBO Canada action, Aaron.
401 rivalry. Ever since the clash at the Coliseum, Windsor has led the season series. London really showing up with some great close games between the Windsor Express and I think. Yeah, go ahead.
I believe the season series between the Express is 5-3. So with 2 games to go, I believe we'll have one. Yeah, the last 2 games will be this Saturday, and of course the last game of the regular season on April 30th in London. If you're gonna tune in, folks, for another edition of Windsor versus London, you got to check in on Saturday night here on Knockstrom.tv. Aaron Sanders will be here, Mitch Kobe K will be here, and it'll be a great time.
It's going to be an incredible game for sure.
Absolutely. Alex, any more questions or concerns on the YouTube comments?
Oh no, just comments from the fans. David Yakima, Robert Yakima, thanks for answering the questions. Big shout out to Shannon Watt who catch up that we have second quarter instead of third quarter, so very fixed. Big shout out to all the Niagara River Lions fans.
And an interesting concept. Let's look at. We're looking over to behind the bench there between behind the Windsor Express bench. James Hughes has some heavy ice on his shoulder. He got fouled early in the second half, early in the second quarter, and he went down hard. So that's a new additional news that I've seen here. Getting some treatment, maybe just a bone bruise, but something that we'll keep our eye on as we progress throughout the end of the year.
It's really questionable, and James Hughes, he hasn't been in the Rose City that long, but when you lose a guy that has great depth and great defensive effort, do you work? Whoa!
KWJ getting it done on the defensive side on the floor too.
KWJ, man, it's a block party for him. But yeah, back to the whole James Hughes situation. It'd be a crying shame if we lose him for a couple of games because we are really in the home stretch more than 3/4 of the season in, and Windsor's really locking down on their inside defense. So they need a big fellow like him to really seal the deal.
Couldn't agree with you more, Aaron. As a foul is going to be called on the ball. That's going to go against Tony. That's his first foul. So the Express relatively staying out of foul trouble in the first half, and their starters being fresh, and that foul trouble has really allowed for the bench to come in as well. We've seen a number of Windsor Express players come in. I believe almost everybody that's on the active roster today has played already. 11 players suited up in the game earlier.
You got another diaper dandy. Niagara's really keeping it close.
Absolutely.
Now they're referring inside. And yes, I mentioned the inside game a lot because it means a lot. That's where you get the rebounds. But outside, we say Brandon Robinson connecting on the 3, expanding the Express lead to 5.
Boldreau knocks down a shot to answer.
Now we are in a shootout. 5:10 to go, 3-point difference. Tony Bennett conducting the offense.
Bennett on the far wing, defended by Blazik. Raising, shooting, scoring!
Wow.
The Jazzman.
Good grief. There's that sweet string music we've been talking about, Brett. When he catches fire, there's no stopping him.
And Monteiro answers back with an and one basket of his own. I believe Chris Common's going to get the foul call there, unfortunately.
So we see the Express being a little bit caught up on that 3-point rage from Tony Bennett, which prompted Niagara to get back on the other side of the court with great force and a strong finish. And they go to the line, so they regrouped real well. Communication is there, and great response by Niagara to keep this game in close range.
And no one home.
Wow.
No,
It's going the other way.
Yeah, they're going to call a hold on Blazic, I believe. He was boxing out. Theo Davis was boxing him out, and I believe a foul was called. So, it's a big effort from Adam Blazic if he's going to be battling Theo Davis down there. So, I don't blame him for his effort or trying his hardest there.
It's no mismatch when you go inside and try to box out as much as you can, but you got to watch the hands. As we see B-Rob at the top.
The second all-time leading scorer in NBL Canada history, Brandon Robinson. Shaquille Keith drives to the basket and draws a foul against Sam Muldrow.
And again, with that experience, it really adds more to the Windsor Express. Only a couple of these players were on part of last year's team, but when you add players that have been around the league for the last few years, or in addition, the 5 years this league has been in existence, it really brings not only depth, but great confidence within the team.
Brett, Aaron.
Yep.
Great shout out from Adam McKellar to the Commons, and also we have a spike on the viewers. I think some viewers from the other game just joined us.
Absolutely, thank you for joining us. If you're coming from the St. John Mill Rats and the Halifax Hurricanes game,
thanks, folks. You tuned in at the right time.
Of course, thank you for joining us across Canada and for wherever you are around the world as Chris Commons scores in transition.
What a bullet. But then again, we're not surprised at the strong finish he's displaying here tonight. Crowd wanted to charge, but they're not going to get it.
And a foul's going to be called for. No, it's going to be out of bounds violation against Niagara due to the loose ball.
It's a great hustle right there, but unfortunately you're near the baseline, so what do? Do you rather try to dive the ball and hit it off the leg of your defender, or just let it go? In Windsor's case, they did both, but they were right behind the huddle, which was a smart move, thus getting the ball back.
Tony Bennett with a good fake in the corner. Rising, shooting. No. Brandon Robinson for three. Off the mark. Muldrow with the rebound.
Great drive. See, the Windsor appears to be playing gingerly off the transition. Niagara once again applying to those strong finishes and creating contact. They don't know what's going to happen unless you give it a try to get close to the basket. But in this case, the River Lions really need to do that if they really want to try to gain a lead back in this game with 3:19 to go here in the third. Windsor really has to wake up defensively as well. Inside, offensively, they're good, but they're going to have to get, better lack of a term, a cup of Java into them to get the defense rolling. Shaq's at the top.
Shaq working against Sammy Zaglinski. Tony Bennett's three, off the mark.
The footwork, fancy footwork, Springer Williams.
Ooh.
Wow.
He knocked down.
You better believe Bill Jones is going to call a timeout on that.
Clinton Springer, one time earlier in the year, knocked down 10 three-pointers against the Windsor Express. So you know that he can get it done. The score is 73-71 for the Windsor Express. 2:46 remaining in the third quarter. Aaron, what an explosion of points we've seen here in the second half.
What is going on? It's a shootout. Express known from retaliating with a strong edge coming out of the first half intermission, but Niagara still in the woods. They're really taking over offensively because Windsor Express defense is back. Windsor has been reacting more on their outside shots, which prompts Niagara to have an open look to the basket. Contact is the number one thing Niagara is really focusing on right now. Get close to the basket. They got a great bunch of free throw shooters, which is why Niagara is back into it. Mainly free throws, mainly driving hard with a vengeance. And just like that, Windsor Express, they were up by as much as 10. They seen it cut down 4/5, so 2-point lead for them. Windsor has to wake up.
And of course, the Windsor Express 16-13 on the regular season. Niagara 12-18. We mentioned this in the pregame about how big of a game this could begin. We spoke about how this game could begin a swing of momentum in the NBL Canada Central for both teams should they win.
Well, it's jam-packed. The Central Division is jam-packed. As you see here, Niagara 12-18, Windsor 16-13, Niagara 18-9. So either way, no matter what Niagara's record is, there are still potentials to probably go to the top should London drop a couple of them. And if the Express got themselves in a good situation right now. And if the playoffs did start today, they would be playing Niagara, and we would be in a great series as we see the ball being played again. In addition, all three teams have great depth into them. That's why the Central Division battle is so tight.
Absolutely, but I believe from what I saw on Sunday, I believe that there is some very, very tough competition coming out of the Atlantic Division. We know that the St. John Millrats are here to play, and we're really excited to see when the Moncton Miracles and the Halifax Hurricanes enter the WFCU Center later this year to see how they play here at the WFCU Center, because it's really wide open in the Atlantic Division, especially if you go into a playoff series and you're riding a wave, so to speak.
Well, yeah, Moncton's really doing well. Despite 13-16, since they got Paul Mulkeski as a coach, they really made some acquisitions, as we see a miss here. They really made some acquisitions, and speaking of Moncton and Windsor, Gary Gibson is now part of Moncton, so it could be a great homecoming for him once he hits the FCU later into the season. And for St. John, a really potential team that could make it to the finals. And then, of course, you got the Hurricanes who've been the cream of the crop of the Atlantic Division since day one of the 2015-16 season. So even though the Central Division's pretty jam-packed, the Atlantic Division could really give the Express a great exhibition when they come to the FCU here near the end of the season.
Now the official's going to confirm about the previous play. 73-71, the Windsor Express lead, like we said. Chris Common's going to head to the bench. Denny McDonald's going to head in. So Shaquille Keith going to shoot some free throws. Russ Conley picks up the foul eventually.
So we are in a tight situation right now, and it's no surprise considering you got to remember how Niagara plays near the end of the game. Though they may not finish, with the W, but that isn't what it's all about. It's about the strong effort they give, especially when they dig it to Stutz, Zaglinski, and Adam Blazik. I mean, that's a dynamic three, so you can't count Niagara out of this yet, nor the Express. This is a close game, and no stalemate will be applied here.
Blazik, beautiful drive baseline. He rises up and shoots. He had some space there. Unfortunately, missed the shot.
He had some space within the rim, too. It was a good look, but a little less force.
Theo Davis inside. Billy Rush with the finish. And what I really like is that Billy Rush has adapted his game right now. He knows that his outside shot hasn't been falling for him, and he's gone to the basket, made things happen. Nearly had an assist there, but ends up with with 4 points.
Still, and the key thing about him too, he follows everybody's shot, not only his own but his teammates' shots, which is why he was open to get the tip in.
Billy Rush adds a lot of length on the wing for the Express. Reminds me of a Papa Opong from the Windsor Express's first championship season.
Oh, Opong, boy, do we miss him. Great depth that Opong has.
Now a teacher in the Toronto area, so if Papa or anyone that knows Papa is watching, we'd like to thank you for all your contributions to the Windsor Express.
Look at this.
Shaq Keith for a big slam. Shaq.
It's a sham. Shacky jam. It's a Shaq jam, whatever you call it. He brung it home, and it really revitalized this FCU crowd.
78-71 near the end of the third quarter. 15 seconds remaining.
Oh, good backdoor.
Sammy Zaglinski showing. Oh, sorry, that's Blazik. Sorry, working his way throughout the phone booth, so to speak, and getting that pass to Russ Conley. He picks up the foul. We'll go to the free throw line.
Niagara really being aware with showing ball awareness right now, showing great effort. You know, they're not letting up, looking for the back door as they did. And that's what Niagara's game's all about. It's a great team effort, especially inside. You rarely see passes go inside the paint, but yet when the back door is open, that's where Niagara takes over. And boy, you better look out. We got a fourth quarter coming.
Sharon Collins gets it to fall, but he goes down hard. And that's how it's going to, the third quarter will end. Big play from Sharon Collins. Puts the Windsor Express up 80-72 when we return. More of Windsor Express basketball on Knockstrom.tv. Welcome back to the WFCU Center, ladies and gentlemen. Fourth quarter action about to get underway here between the Windsor Express and Niagara River Lions. 80-72 the score. Aaron, please tell me your thoughts about this game so far.
Oh boy. Just when you think the game has gotten away to one side, it hasn't. Niagara really coming back on the strong finishes, coming off the transition game, which what the Windsor Express did to get their lead before the end of the first half. So Niagara really engaging in this shootout. Defense is really coming back. Windsor really has to start relying on the small ball.
Muldrow spinning in tight. Saw two wall of defenders there, Denny McDonald and Kirk Williams Jr., KWJ. Alex Johnson to Billy Rush. He steps inside the three-point line, defended by Sammy Zaglinski. Two former teammates going at it there, driving. Billy Rush traveling on violation, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, he was too much in a rush for that. But you got to admire the drive.
Oh, Aaron, you are so punny.
Yes. Put me in the penitentiary.
BJ Montero. Happy early Easter to my friends. Everyone in the house. Enjoy your Good Friday if you celebrate. If not, enjoy the time with your family. We want to get that out of the way first and foremost.
At the end of the day, it is all about family. No matter where you are, you got great supporters. They could be your family too. The team could be family, the family could be family, but why not? Enjoy your Easter. You don't enjoy it, enjoy the weekend, rather.
Montero gets a bounce, and it falls. 70, and then there's Logan Stutz stealing the inbounds play. Quick 4-point play. You never know what's going to happen, Denny McDonald.
What did I tell you about Logan Stutz? Non-hesitant.
And we've just learned that the DAC stats are up for the live stream game now. As Kirk Williams Jr. Oh, blocked by Muldrow. What a play.
You see, the adrenaline is on the River Lions side right now. Still a 4-point battle, but Niagara's really picking up on Windsor's miscommunications, applying full court pressure, which what prompted to the Stutz bucket. And Stutz just made the leading scorer with 15 points.
Yeah, unfortunately, Denny McDonald took that pass from Alex Johnson, but he had not reestablished his feet after stepping out of bounds, making that cut. So it is Niagara ball, 4-point game.
Interestingly enough, Siglinski is the rebounding leader tonight, 7 rebounds. And Chris Commons, too, leading the rebounds for the Express. Chris Commons, 14 points, 7 rebounds.
Montero misses in tight, trying to make it a single possession game there, but now here come the Windsor Express. 10 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. It's been a fast game between two very fast clubs. Alex Johnson to KWJ. Gets to the top of the key, crossing over, rising up and shooting. Mid-range jumper, no good. Denny McDonald gonna be charged with a foul there.
Denny McDonald's just having he's just having a hard game right now.
I believe he's figuring out how to play at this level. This is the most that we've seen him have some playing time.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that he's just learning the playbook and just going out there and using his athleticism to the best of his ability. He's touched a couple spots on the scoreboard and the defensive and some assists and blocks and stuff. So I like what he's done here today.
When he plays more games with the Express, he'll really establish his.
Ooh, Sammy Muldrow with a big 3.
Speaking of establishing a three
Exactly.
man, it's been going well for Muldrow.
Yeah.
Big guy of his stature, but good grief, can he fire threes?
Good grief, Charlie Brown. Kirk Williams Jr. for 3. No good. Rebounded by Alex Johnson
Good
to
tap
Chris
out.
Commons. Getting it back from Commons. Getting inside the key. Getting bumped. And going to the free throw line now is Alex Johnson. After a nice creative drive there.
Windsor doing what Niagara has successfully done in the last quarter. Taking it hard inside. Adding contact, and especially for Superman Johnson to swoop in and try to go for those layups. It just shows what intensity the Windsor Express can deliver, as well as the effort. Both clubs' effort is really stepping up as we see Superman Johnson
knocks down both free throws, extends the Windsor Express lead.
5 points, 2 rebounds for the fella.
He's a Canadian as well, native of Toronto, former NBL Canada first overall pick when the Ottawa Skyhawks joined us for a year.
A dynamite player.
Ended up playing in Mississauga and then St. John and now Windsor. So good patience from Tremar Sutherland there.
Beautiful. Grasslock Coley loves that, and I don't blame him. A great fake out, created attention. Windsor added to the attention with the traffic, but at the end of the day, you finish strong because you never know what will happen. And now we are
tie game.
Knotted up.
As Bob Winowski would say, big game.
Big game.
Big game. Big game, Terry.
Speaking
Alex
of big
Johnson
game, what
for
a big
three.
What a big 3.
He knocked that down all the way from Lowe's on Parkway.
But look who's there to go back all the way at the end.
Smart play. Smart play right off the inbound to get it in the front court.
It's that traffic I've been telling you about.
Tremar Sutherland with another
Sutherland again.
big bucket.
And the 2 times he's been down at the other end of the court, finishing with the flare. He knows the Windsor Express have been caught up with what's going on half. But boy, oh boy, he's putting on a great game.
Shaquille Keith. Oh, he puts the underhand there, and he can't get it to fall. Chris Commons tried to get his hand in there. Alex Johnson finally picks up the foul there after 3 Express players tried to pick up a foul. before transition, trying to limit the opportunity of a bucket there.
Last thing the Express need to do is give up easy layups again. We've seen basically a 4-point play finished by Stutz inside, and then we see Sutherland trying to finish off with the flare. So the Express really have to reconsider whether to apply full court pressure or not, because 2 out of 3 times Niagara went back and got to the hoop.
Pair of subs coming into the game. Billy Rush and Alex Johnson check out. Bennett and Robinson check in. 7:45 to go. It's clutch time. Stutz sweeping through on Commons, and he's going to be called for a foul.
He dug in deep for the ball. He thought he had it, but unfortunately grabbed Stutz a little too many. Windsor Express shooting almost 43%. Niagara shooting almost 42%. Shows really how close the game really is. And in terms of rebounds, the Express only lead by 1, 40-39, and the offensive rebounds are even for both squads. And funny enough, Niagara's coming back in this game because based on the turnover points, 13-0, Brett.
That's right. 3 ball out of the no way. Shaquille O'Keefe saves it from going out of bounds, but it's in the hands of Tremar Sutherland. He gets it up the floor to Montero. He drives, has the ball stripped from him, and it will be Niagara basketball.
Tony Bennett delivering his displeasure on that call.
And checking out of the game, Logan Stutz checking in. Mike Allison, pardon me.
Mike Allison really using depth for the Niagara River Lions. And it's a good substitution too, considering how Niagara is doing off the turnovers in the transition game. You really need somebody that could really be in the backcourt to finish off strong. So Niagara's going to rely more on their depth defensively, because they know they could come back with a vengeance after a Windsor bucket.
Yep. Tie game after the split pair of free throws. 85-85. Tony Bennett for 3. Kirk Williams Jr. with an offensive rebound there. Looking for a foul, not going to get it. Pleading his case, like we said, but falling on deaf ears. 85 up with less than 7 to go here at the WFCU Center. Always fun to see the back and forth chess game now between each team as they fight on literally every single possession.
Well, they have no choice but to. This is a clutch game.
Turnover. Chris Commons getting in the way there, causing that steal. And we saw it against the St. John Mill Rats, but how effective that press can be. As Shaquille O'Keefe,
it's a kickball.
He's going to be charged for a kickball. You saw Chris Commons give him a little head nod there, trying to tell him to cut to the soft spot on the floor. But it is a turnover, and more pressure being put on the floor by the Windsor Express now.
So Windsor really have to squeeze the ball. They're trying to tap it more outside on a miss, but in reality, if the ball comes around you, secure the ball and just go finish strong. The only reason why Niagara's back into it is because, 1, everybody's at the backcourt, quick reaction, and B, Windsor's tapping it more than squeezing the ball.
BJ Montero not able to score in tight. Mike Allison with another offensive rebound, and he cools it down, gives it over to Blazik, who rises and shoots. No good. Brandon Robinson with the rebound, and Muldrow is going to be charged with a foul on the attempt.
You got to admire the anticipation on Muldrow, regardless of the foul.
Have to agree with you there. 6:07 remaining. It's an 85-85 game. Thank you for joining us, fans, from wherever you are across Canada and around the world for Knockstrom.tv's production of Windsor Express basketball. Muldrow, no good. Blazik with the offensive rebound. He gets it inside to Mike Allison.
That's a big possession.
No one home.
That was a big possession, And this is where Windsor's vices is starting to come in, unfortunately. Not being able to follow Niagara's shots and squeeze in for the defensive rebounds. And in return and all that, Niagara's really putting up the moves on the post.
Brandon Robinson gets fouled in the low post. Tremar Sutherland, the guilty party. And now it's the Windsor Express's turn to draw something up out of the timeout. Sorry, out of the inbounds play. Robinson fouled on the floor, no shot. 5:36 to go.
Well, Chris Commons is coming out, so looks like Bill Jones is putting a big trust on the Windsor Express mixed streams. And speaking of,
and that will bring us to a timeout. The Windsor Express trail the Niagara River Lions 87-85 here in the closing minutes of the fourth quarter. Big shout out to everyone that's made this production of Knockstrom.tv's possible. Big shout out to Dan Shelley, of course, our Alejandro de Armero, and Aaron Sanders, and myself.
And David Willie. Also.
David Willie, of course, one of our cameramen here today, getting it done, showing up and helping us out here today.
Emily Rubinski not here today, but we give a shout out for her.
Kobe K away from the day, but we'll be seeing him on Saturday. Believe he had a date with 2 dogs today.
Yes, he did.
That's right.
Safe to say the day went to the dogs. I don't know. It's a rough joke, but I guess I better stop now.
You did a fantastic job, Aaron. Don't worry.
I tried.
Yeah, this shout out to our 104 live viewers, and also to other 400 new viewers that are going to come for watching the replay.
Yes.
The Knockstrom 104 live.
That's right. Thank you for joining us live, of course. If you are suffering from some lagging or buffering problems, make sure to check to see what definition you are broadcasting the game in. If you can maintain that high definition stream, we encourage you to do that. But if you're suffering from buffering, go down to the standard definition. Make sure you check it out and see what you can do.
Because this is a game to see. Folks, it's now 9:17 Eastern Standard Time. Remember that time, because with 5:36 left, we are going to see a dramatic finish as we see a tip-in by one Theo Davis.
Theo Davis coming off the bench and scoring right there in a key situation on the inbound.
I'm calling it right here. Clutch situation at the end of the game. This game's too close to call.
Zaglinski for 3 off the mark, but Theo Davis is going to be charged for a foul on the rebound. Mike Allison hit the deck.
A little too much force.
Express foul number 40, Theo Davis' second.
That is Theo Davis's foul. Oh, and some nice words coming from Audley Stevenson today.
The odd man.
Saying that we're doing a dynamic job. I don't know. We have plenty of time to screw it up, but
don't jinx it. Don't jinx it now.
Yeah.
You didn't hear that, odd man. Your fingers are crossed with you.
That's right. But not.
Oh.
Another early entry from Mike Allison on the missed free throw. So he's split 2 now, and on both situations he's missed the second and has entered early. So 1 point lead now for Niagara, 88-87, thanks to Mr. Allison. And here come the Express. Sharon Collins at the helm. Stepping into a jumper. Knocking it down, Sharon Collins, rock chalk Jayhawk. Getting it done from just inside the 3. Montero. Rising. No good. Knocked away from Mike Allison. Just mistimed his jump there. Didn't expect to see what kind of kick the ball was going to take off the heel of the rim.
Absolutely. Give credit to the Express's defense on that possession right there. They seen that there was a pick and roll coming off the top. They were really responsive, so great switching right there. Now Niagara trying to apply half-court pressure. As the pressure's on in this final 4 minutes and change.
Tony Bennett kicks it out. Brandon Robinson, oh, what a dime. No good.
Would have
Off
been
the
a dime.
mark, and it's good on the rebound. Tony Bennett.
He didn't get a dime, but he got a 2.
And important on there was the positioning of Bennett on that play right there. getting inside the defender, getting in position for that offensive rebound and the putback.
He was at the right angle at the right time. As we see another and one, and that's how Niagara's coming back in this game.
Mike Allison with a big and one for the River Lions. Who has a chance to tie it. 91-91 with this free throw as a pair of subs coming into the game.
Mike Allison really got to be careful. I mean, it's great for him to follow his free throw, but be careful of the lane violation. See, he stood there stiff as a board after his release. He did the right thing. Tie ball game at 91. 4:13 to go. Oh, wow.
Tony Bennett
The
finds a
back
soft
door.
spot. What a find from Sharon Collins.
It is the back door. Always creating attention at the top, and look who is there to finish.
Stutz has his pass disrupted.
Easy.
And a smart play from Stutz there to make the foul on Theo Davis just to limit a transition opportunity.
Well, that's been the name of the game for the Windsor Express tonight. It's the transition game.
Collins. He's seen his share of big games playing with the Kansas Jayhawks, won a national championship in 2008, like we said. Big 12, sixth man of the year in 09 with his senior season. Theo Davis, and one. Big play from the Brampton native. Theo Davis with a big bucket for the Express. With a foul shot to come.
He knew he was going to get a defender right there. He knew he was going to get the contact. He let it go. Hail Mary. He got it. And he could really make a big impact for the Express should he knock down the Zam 1.
Ooh. And a miss on the free throw, so it is a 4-point game for the Express still. BJ Montiero, he's had himself a good second half and a good game. Misses the three. Sharon Collins with the rebound. Quick pass up to KWJ. Back to Tony Bennett. He can't score. Theo Davis blocked from Sammy Muldrow. But it will be a foul called. I thought that was a great play from Muldrow coming back and making that defensive stop, but the official says there was a foul.
Yeah, grabbing in, unfortunately. Windsor was really responsive on the transition game yet again, finding ways to connect to the back door. Well, a timeout, but still.
And that will prompt a timeout call from Graz Lacole. 95-91, the Express lead, the Niagara River Lions. And like we said, this has been a fantastic game, and the River Lions have been on a tear in the Central Division. What do they need to do to perhaps overtake this 4-point deficit and make their record in the Central Division 8-2 or 8-1 since February 24th?
Do what they did at the top of the fourth quarter. Make sure everybody's at the backcourt after a Windsor Express basket. Even anticipate it. Anticipation's a good thing. So you really got to look up when you get the rebound. That's how you get the transition game going. And no matter what happens, always look to cut to the basket. There's no need for outside threes right now. There's no need for mid-range jumpers. What they need to do is beat the Express at their own game, and that is inside and looking for the back door.
All right, you heard it here from Aaron Sanders joining me on color commentary today. Make sure to follow Aaron at A Sanders Windsor. We'll be hosting our halftime and our post-game show segments all the time, and he may be able to answer any questions you have from you fans on Twitter and, of course, Facebook. Make sure to add Aaron on Facebook as well. Another key place for us journalists to get information as well.
Absolutely. And be sure to follow the Frostcast, too.
Yep.
Great podcast. It's an up-and-running podcast. We got another local podcast running, so remember to tune in at aaronsanders.podbean.com for the Frostcast. Listen in to a couple of episodes, and I might have a video episode coming within the next week, so you'll never know what you'll get from the old Frostfather.
Of course, make sure to follow Noxtrom Digital Media on Twitter at Noxtrom, Noxtrom, for the latest from the best live stream crew in Windsor, Essex County. Theo Davis splits a pair of free throws there, makes it a 5-point game for the Windsor Express. Yes, Alex? Anything to say? No? I think I called it.
It's another game for all those addicted to drama and adrenaline junkies, Brett.
It's great. Zaglinski steps inside the three-point line, gives a spin, finds a cutting BJ Montero to Sammy Muldrow. What a three-way passing play from the River Lions.
That was an amazing play. A great setup for inside. I'm seeing that in the top tenor.
Yeah, we'll wait to see the NBL Canada highlights of the week. Make sure to tune in on the NBL Canada Live This Week podcast as well, hosted by Kobe K and myself. Kirk Williams Jr. He was mad at the rim.
Yes.
He was mad at it.
Absolutely.
And that was a turnover.
Look who's going to be mad too. Takes it home.
Wow, what a span of two plays for the Express. 100-93.
WFCU on its feet. Great two plays offensively by the Windsor Express. Now they got to put that adrenaline in the three. Speaking of three, Logan Stutz trying to add more to the three-point range for Niagara. Man, I think we have seen 4 straight possessions that have been phenomenal on both clubs. And now we're to the final 2 minutes where anything could happen. Don't count anybody out, but you could count on a great finish here. Speaking of finishes.
Theo Davis cannot finish on the reverse layup. Gives an opportunity for the River Lions. They're only down 4. Sammy Zaglinski makes it 2.
That's a good drive.
And what an answer from the River Lions. Not playing too high, not playing too low. Graz Lacole looking for a foul on the drive. And that makes it a 2-point game.
100-98.
1:38 to go. Wow. So the script has not been written yet.
No.
Still lots of time for both teams. And when the Express went up by 7 points after 2 consecutive baskets, I thought it was great resolve from Niagara to come back, can the 3, and then make a defensive stop and then get that big bucket from Sammy Zaglinski.
I'm experiencing jet lag right now from those last 4 possessions. That was one of the best possessions I have seen in this game today. It just goes to show how tight the Central Division race is. Niagara, you cannot count them out. And if they produce a strong finish, they're going to become a definite threat in the playoffs. Now what Windsor has to do, they have to keep up on the tempo.
It will be Windsor Express basketball after this play. The timeout call will move the ball from the baseline into the front court. So that will alleviate some pressure on the Windsor Express backcourt as they look to get a good look here and extend this lead rather than just defend the lead. Do you agree?
I agree with that. What you gotta do is extend. You can't waste time, whether game clock, whether shot clock. What you gotta do is you gotta be responsive. You gotta be responsible. You gotta be the one that has to connect on those shots quick like that. So you can't waste any time because within these last 1 minute and 38 seconds, anything could happen. That's why you can't waste precious time.
Here we go. Sharon Collins. You Must Believe, as Justin Bieber is in on the background here. Okay, never mind. It's gone. DJ Thor let it go.
It's over. He let it go.
Is it? Sorry. Sharon. Tony Bennett over to Kirk Williams Jr.
Yes.
Captain Kirk gets it done. He just can't do it, Captain. He does have the power. Sammy Zaglinski picks up his dribble. No one home. Nearly a 5-second call there. Tremar Sutherland back to Zaglinski. Splits the D to Sutherland. Off the mark. Brandon Robinson with the rebound.
Yeah.
And a foul going to be called against Sutherland.
It's a good foul. But still.
What a 3-point shot from Kirk Williams Jr.
He did all that he can, Captain.
Captain Kirk.
He's still got it in him.
Always has it in him. Kirk Williams Jr. getting it done for the Express.
Man.
He comes up in clutch opportunities.
Clutch is right.
Alex.
Minute and 2 to go.
Yeah, I remember that game when the Windsor Express was playing in the St. John Mill Rats.
Yep.
They were like 10 points in 1 minute, and they got the game, but it was very close.
I'm telling you, that was the game of the century, and we might see another game of the century here with 53 to go.
Okay, only a 5-point deficit between each team. Sharon Collins finds a spot, goes off the glass and good.
Yes.
7 point. Oh, they're gonna say
there's a timeout.
No, they're gonna say that there was an inadvertent buzzer, I believe. Okay, timeout has been called as addressed by PA announcer Steve Belanger. Pardon us, folks. Windsor taking a 105-98 lead. Less than 50 seconds to go here in the fourth.
Which is not impossible for the Niagara. They still can come back, Brett. They still can come back and they can win because I've seen crazy things like 30 seconds, going down by 8, and the table just turn around. So another game for all those addicted to drama and adrenaline junkies.
Well,
this is a special game down the wire.
Well, Alex, this is a soap opera none of you can miss. Within the days of our lives, Niagara still has time to do what they can. 3-possession game, but with more than a minute to go, anything could happen. We have seen one of the greatest finishes in this season alone in the league. So anything can happen. We have seen a 22 deficit blown last Sunday.
Yes, like in 2 minutes. I remember that game.
Exactly.
So this is not over until it's over, and it's not too much difference. This is doable, and Niagara River Lions, they had the talent and they had the drive.
Marking it
So don't go away. Stay here. Another game for all those that have some kind of heart conditions. Please turn off your TV.
He went there. Oh, it's soap opera time, folks, but it doesn't get as realistic as this.
So Niagara gives it to Muldrow in the corner for 3 on the inbound. Oh, he does not get it to drop. There's a foul on the floor. So rather than Springer getting the easy 2, Logan Stutz will go to the free throw line after the foul was called against Shaquille Keith. His 4th personal. And Tony Bennett plotting the fans to get up and get loud for these free throws. And Logan knocks it down.
WFCU center has to get more in a rampant frenzy than this. Logan Stutz, great mid-range shooter, and he comes in the clutch too.
He knocks down a pair.
Ice water in his veins.
5-point game, 45 seconds to go exactly. Sharon Collins gets the basketball. He's got Zaglinski working against him. Got some time.
Oh, boy.
What a crossover. Sharon Collins kicks it in the corner. Brandon Robinson back to Bennett to Shaquille Keith. Offensive. No, they're going to keep it going. Big three.
And they did.
Rock, chalk, Jayhawk, Sharon Collins.
I knew the moment he crossed him over, that was a game changer. And we got another TO.
Wow. What a play from Sharon Collins there.
Still, there's lots of time, 27 seconds.
If you're Niagara, you got to gain a lot of momentum. Windsor's bench already celebrating, but there is still 27 seconds to go. You cannot let that confidence get to your head because Niagara always comes back on the backcourt and shows a great transition game.
8 points, 108-100 the score. Niagara looking to get a quick score out of this timeout. What's going on in the timeout of the Niagara River Lions, do you feel?
Well, Brett, I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed at the effort both of these clubs are dishing out. 3/4 of the season in. And we are seeing what the game of basketball is all about. The hustle, the integrity, the adversity you have to overcome in order to be the cream of the crop. Windsor's doing it justice right now. Niagara's defense is really doing it justice. Despite them having a 3-possession well, despite this being a 3-possession game, Niagara still got a lot left in its arsenal to really deliver what's a finish.
Yeah, they have 3 points and a foul, and they are back.
108-100. Nearly a 5-second call there, but some quick passing from Logan Stutz to Sammy Muldrow. He gets his second opportunity and cans it.
And that's what they need to do to stay alive. Even if it's the short buckets, it still eats into the lead.
Tony Bennett receives the inbound play and goes up the floor, draws the foul. He'll go to the free throw line with 21 ticks on the clock. 108-102, the current score with 2 free throws ahead for Tony Bennett.
Number 2, Clinton Springer's first personal. 2 shots.
Tony Bennett looking to make it happen again for the Express, looking to close it out. 2 tight wins.
Well, should they finish this off, Brett, they'll be 3-0 in their 4-game homestand before heading out of town on Easter Sunday.
Tony Bennett
missed it.
Offensive rebounds. Wow. Brandon Robinson with the basketball.
See, that's the type of effort.
12 seconds. Bennett, Shaquille Keith. That's going to do it, folks. 7-point game. It's been a fantastic pleasure, folks.
Wow.
That will do it. 109-102 the score. We're going to send it over to Aaron Sanders real quick. But first, Aaron, just your quick thoughts about this fantastic basketball game today.
This was one of the best second halves we have seen in this league. Express and Niagara really did the Central Division justice with their tough game. Great backcourt on both teams. The defensive effort, you really got to give your hats off to Niagara for keeping this as a close game as it was. But for the Express, they really capped it off with the transition game. And folks, I'll be back with you in just 1 minute.
Yeah, we'll send it over to Aaron Sanders shortly after we wrap this thing up. Alex, my friend.
It was an incredible game, Brett. It was not decided until the last 7 seconds.
Yeah, and it really came down to some really fine points of the game and some execution down the stretch.
Yes.
Niagara had themselves a good showing. They dropped to 7-2 against the Central Division this year since Grozlakole took over, and 7-5 overall. So the River Lions dropped to 12-19. And here we go, Tony Bennett being called the Windsor Express Player of the Game. The point guard from Bradley University getting it done once again. For everyone here at Knockstrom.tv, that's going to do it here for the production of the Windsor Express basketball game. Let's send it over to Aaron Sanders for the Windsor Express postgame on Knockstrom.tv. Thanks a lot, folks. See you later. Take it away, Aaron.
Thanks, Brett. It was fun doing the game with you, and we hope you do this again real soon. Speaking of soon, the Windsor Express pulled out an impressive victory over the Niagara River Lions, 109-102. And we have the Knockstrom post-game, and I'm Aaron Sanders. This second half, and I mentioned this already, one of the best second halves we have seen from this league in quite some time. Two of these teams trying to fight for the top of the Central Division race. And this game really did it justice. It goes to show how aggressive the transition game is on the Central Division and on the part of both teams. We'll recap the stats for you as quick as we can. Windsor Express beats the River Lions in the field goal percentage range, 46-41. And the rebounds could get as close as it gets, 49 for the Express. Niagara has 44 in total. And what surprised me was the effort. We mentioned the effort of the River Lions and why they were managed to stay in the game and cut the lead in the single digits. And why was that? The transition game, and B, the points off the turnovers. They scored 16 points off the Express turnovers, and vice versa. The Express only scored 6 off Niagara's turnovers. Player of the game for Niagara. Is it no surprise that Logan Stutz is the player of the game? I mean, honestly, you see me gloat about him, And he really did it justice tonight. 22 points, 7 rebounds. What can I say about a fellow who could really knock down some free throws, who has ice water in his veins every time he steps on the court? But the night goes to the Windsor Express. The night goes to the player of the game for them, Kirk Williams Jr., 19 points, 5 assists. And, man, we've seen the last in one of the 4 possessions during the fourth quarter, a tough, aggressive game, one of the greatest fast-paced exhibitions you will get here in the NBLC. That's it for that game. And remember, folks, we had a game that ended earlier. The Halifax Hurricanes beat the St. John Millrats by 34. And Justin Johnson was the player of the game, and Doug Harry Jr. was player of the game for the St. John Millrats. As Brett said, we'll be back with you once again with another installment of the Windsor Express on Knockstrom.tv this Saturday, where we have another installment of the 401 rivalry. We talked about a positive threat to the Central Division, and now you're going to see the cream of the crop of the division, the London Lightning, play against the now 17-13 Windsor Express. A 1-2 battle if the playoffs started today. A Central Division Finals matchup, if you will, if the playoffs started today. But the playoffs does not start today. But you really got to have a vibe for it, as we are more than 3/4 into the season. London has been showing up real well. Kevin Loisel, Stephen Maxwell really playing their part. Warren Ward. And they have to go up against the Windsor Express, who consist of plenty of dynamic duos. Tony Bennett, Chris Commons, and the return of Maurice Bolden after serving a 1-game suspension for collecting 6 technical fouls. So this game could go either way, but it's only up for us to find out, as well, you the viewers, to find out what goes down in this other installment of the 401 rivalry this Saturday. 7:30 tip-off time, and that will do it for us right here. Once again, we want to express our thanks to each and every one of you who have watched here on Knockstrom.tv. The support has been beneficial. It's been great answering your tweets, and we hope to do it again real soon. The final score, the Windsor Express 109, the Niagara River Lions 102. This, my friends, was another presentation of Knockstrom Digital Media, producing the media excellence in the Windsor-Essex County. So until Saturday night, this be Aaron Sanders saying so long from the Rose City.